A father's blessing. Does it really matter? Audiobook introduction. A child's silent cry for approval. From the moment a child is born, there is an unspoken desire to be seen, loved, and affirmed, especially by their father. Whether through words of encouragement, a warm embrace, or the simple acknowledgement of their worth, a father's blessing has the power to shape a child's destiny. But what happens when that blessing is absent? In every culture and generation, fathers have played a crucial role in bestowing identity, confidence, and purpose upon their children. Whether in the form of a spoken blessing, a heartfelt prayer, or a symbolic act of approval, this paternal affirmation carries profound weight. But in today's fast-paced world, many children, both young and grown, are still waiting for a father's blessing they never received. Some spend their entire lives striving for their father's approval, chasing success, relationships, or even rebellion, all in an unconscious attempt to fill the void. Others, having received their father's affirmation, walk with a deep sense of security and purpose. This book seeks to answer a pressing question. Does a father's blessing really matter? And if so, how does it impact our lives? Throughout history, we see the power of a father's blessing shaping destinies. In the Bible, Jacob went to great lengths to secure his father Isaac's blessing, because he knew that his future depended on it. The spoken blessing carried the weight of identity, inheritance, and divine favor. Even today, the absence or presence of a father's blessing leaves a lasting imprint on an individual's heart, often influencing their self-worth, confidence, and relationship with God and others. But what exactly is a father's blessing? It is more than just words. It is an impartation of love, identity, and affirmation. It is the act of a father recognizing his child's worth, calling out their potential, and speaking life into their future. It is an inheritance, not of material wealth alone, but of spiritual strength and emotional security. Unfortunately, we are living in a time of fatherlessness, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. Many fathers are absent from their children's lives due to abandonment, neglect, or even an inability to express love. Some fathers are physically present, but emotionally distant, leaving their children feeling unseen and unworthy. The effects of this void are evident. Identity crises. Many struggle with who they are, searching for affirmation in all the wrong places. Emotional wounds. The absence of a father's blessing often leads to insecurity, fear, and low self-esteem. Generational cycles. Broken father-child relationships often repeat across generations unless healing takes place. This book seeks to uncover these deep-rooted issues while providing hope and restoration. If you have never received your father's blessing, is it too late? If you are a father, how can you ensure your child receives this life-giving gift? Hope and healing through the father's blessing. The good news is that healing is possible. Even if your biological father never spoke words of affirmation over you, your heavenly Father has already declared powerful truths about you. Moreover, spiritual fathers, mentors, and even personal encounters with God can fill the gap left by an absent earthly father. In this book, we will explore the biblical and historical significance of a father's blessing, the emotional and psychological effects of a father's words, stories of transformation from those who sought and received their father's blessing, practical steps for fathers to bless their children, how to find healing and restoration even if your father is absent. The journey to receiving, giving, or understanding a father's blessing is deeply personal, yet universally relevant. It is a journey of breaking chains, restoring identities, and releasing individuals into their God-given purpose. Whether you are a father, a son, a daughter, or someone seeking answers, this book is for you. May it serve as a guide to understanding why a father's blessing truly matters, and how you can receive or give this priceless gift. As you turn these pages, I invite you to reflect on your own experience. Have you received your father's blessing? Do you long for his affirmation? Are you a father seeking to bless your children? No matter where you stand, it is never too late to seek, give, or receive the blessing that was meant for you. Let us embark on this journey together, uncovering the life-changing power of a father's words. Are you ready? Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Biblical Foundation of a Father's Blessing. The concept of a father's blessing is deeply rooted in biblical history, where fathers imparted blessings to their children, shaping their destinies for generations to come. The Bible provides numerous examples of how spoken blessings from fathers carried spiritual, emotional, and prophetic weight, influencing not only the lives of their children, but also the course of entire nations. This chapter explores the biblical foundation of a father's blessing by examining key scriptural examples, including Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the profound impact their blessings had on their descendants. Abraham, the covenant blessing. Genesis 12, 1-3, 17, 4-8, 22, 17-18. Abraham, the father of faith, received a divine blessing from God, which he later passed down to his son, Isaac. God's promise to Abraham was not just a personal blessing, but a generational covenant that impacted all of humanity. Key elements of Abraham's blessing. God's promise to bless Abraham: "I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing." Genesis 12:2. Abraham's blessing was not just material, but spiritual and generational, impacting his descendants and future nations. The blessing of many descendants. "I will establish my covenant as an everlasting covenant between me and you and your descendants after you." Genesis 17:7. God's blessing ensured that Abraham's lineage would be as numerous as the stars, and that his descendants would inherit the promised land. The blessing passed down to Isaac. Abraham blessed Isaac before his death, ensuring that the divine promise would continue through him. Significance. Abraham's blessing demonstrates that a father's words, when spoken in alignment with God's will, carry divine authority and can impact not just a child's life, but entire generations. Isaac's blessing to Jacob and Esau, Genesis 27:27-40. Isaac, as the son of Abraham, inherited the covenant blessing. When it came time to bless his sons, Jacob and Esau, we see one of the most well-known examples of how powerful a father's blessing was in determining a child's future. The story of the blessing, Genesis 27. Esau, the firstborn, was expected to receive the primary blessing, but through deception, Jacob, the younger twin, received it instead. Jacob disguised himself as Esau, and with the help of his mother, Rebekah, tricked his aging father into blessing him. Once the blessing was spoken, it could not be revoked, showing the irrevocable power of a father's words. Isaac's blessing to Jacob, Genesis 27:28-29. "May God give you heaven's dew and earth's richness, an abundance of grain and new wine. May nations serve you and peoples bow down to you. Be Lord over your brothers." This blessing prophesied prosperity, dominion, and divine favor over Jacob's life. Esau's lost blessing, Genesis 27:38-40. When Esau realized his blessing had been given away, he pleaded, "Bless me too, my father." Genesis 27:34. However, Isaac could not take back the words he had spoken. Esau's lesser blessing reflected his struggle and the consequences of missing out on his father's full blessing. Significance. This story highlights the weight of a father's spoken blessing. Once given, it had lasting power. The importance of receiving a father's blessing, Esau's pain at missing out, shows how deeply valuable it was. The spiritual implications of a blessing. Jacob's life and destiny were forever changed because of his father's words. Jacob's blessing to his sons, Genesis 49. Before his death, Jacob, later called Israel, blessed his 12 sons, who became the 12 tribes of Israel. His blessings were not just words of encouragement, but prophetic declarations over their futures. Key blessings from Jacob. 1. Judah, Genesis 49, 8-12. "The scepter will not depart from Judah, nor the ruler's staff from between his feet." This prophecy foretold that kings, including Jesus, the Messiah, would come from Judah's lineage. 2. Joseph, Genesis 49, 22-26. "Joseph is a fruitful vine, his bow remained steady." Jacob pronounced great favor, strength, and prosperity over Joseph, reflecting his trials and triumphs in Egypt. 3. Other sons received specific blessings that shaped their tribes' roles in Israel's history. Significance. Jacob's blessings were not random. They were prophetic and shaped the destinies of entire tribes. This shows that a father's blessing is not just for individual success, but can impact family legacies and national destiny. The blessing of Jesus, Matthew 3:17, Luke 3:22. One of the greatest examples of a father's blessing comes from God the Father blessing Jesus at his baptism. As Jesus was baptized, heaven opened, and a voice from God declared, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." Matthew 3:17. This affirmation was not just for Jesus, but for all who follow him, showing that a father's blessing brings identity, love, and purpose. Significance: this blessing shows the importance of affirmation from a father. Jesus had not yet begun his ministry, yet God validated and affirmed him publicly. It sets the example that every child needs to hear words of love and approval from their father. These biblical examples reveal key truths about a father's blessing. 1. It is prophetic and life-altering. A father's words have the power to shape a child's future. Isaac's blessing to Jacob. 2. It carries generational significance. A father's blessing affects not just one child, but entire families and nations. Jacob's blessing to his sons. 3. It provides identity and affirmation. Just as God affirmed Jesus, earthly fathers should affirm their children to give them confidence and purpose. 4. It cannot be taken lightly. Esau's regret shows that a father's blessing is a precious gift that should not be overlooked. Call to action. Fathers today must recognize the power of their words and be intentional about blessing their children. Those who never received a father's blessing can seek spiritual healing and affirmation from God, mentors, or father figures. Every individual should understand that a father's blessing is not just a tradition, but a divine principle that impacts generations. The irrevocable nature of a father's blessing. One of the most striking aspects of biblical blessings is their irrevocability. Once a blessing was spoken by a father, it could not be undone, retracted, or transferred to another. This principle is most evident in Isaac's blessing to Jacob and Esau. When Isaac realized that he had mistakenly blessed Jacob instead of Esau, he trembled and said, "I have blessed him, and indeed he will be blessed." Genesis 27:33. Despite Esau's pleas, Isaac could not reverse the blessing or bestow the same level of favor on him. This demonstrates that a father's blessing is not just a simple wish or a casual word of encouragement. It is a powerful, binding declaration that sets the course of a person's life. Throughout the Bible, words are shown to have creative and life-altering power. God himself spoke the world into existence, Genesis 1, and Jesus emphasized the importance of words when he said, "The words I have spoken to you are spirit, and they are life." John 6:63. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. Proverbs 18:21. A father's words, when spoken as a blessing, carry spiritual weight, shaping the emotional, mental, and even material future of a child. In biblical times, a father's blessing was not just an expression of goodwill, but a spiritual impartation. These blessings often contained prophetic insights, revealing God's will for the recipient's life. For example, Noah blessed Shem and Japheth, but cursed Canaan. Genesis 9:25-27, setting the trajectory for their descendants. Moses blessed the tribes of Israel before his death, Deuteronomy 33, declaring their roles and destinies. Jesus blessed his disciples before ascending to heaven, Luke 24:50, commissioning them to carry out his work. These instances show that a father's blessing is not just a momentary event, but a lasting divine decree that shapes generations. In many biblical blessings, the right hand played a significant role. The right hand symbolizes authority and favor, Psalm 110:1. Divine approval and strength, Isaiah 41:10. The transfer of spiritual inheritance. A key example is found in Genesis 48, when Jacob, Israel, blessed Joseph's sons, Ephraim and Manasseh. Though Manasseh was the firstborn, Jacob crossed his arms and placed his right hand on Ephraim, bestowing the greater blessing on him instead. Despite Joseph's protest, Jacob insisted that God had chosen Ephraim for a greater destiny. This moment highlights that a father's blessing is not based solely on birthright, but on divine purpose. It also shows that God can override earthly expectations, emphasizing that blessings are more than just cultural traditions. They are spiritually directed acts. The consequences of rejecting a father's blessing. The Bible also provides examples of those who missed out on a father's blessing and the consequences that followed. 1. Esau's lost blessing. Genesis 27:34-40. Esau despised his birthright and later regretted it, showing that a father's blessing must be valued. His descendants, the Edomites, faced struggles and hardships, illustrating that the loss of a father's blessing can have generational repercussions. 2. Ham's curse. Genesis 9:20-27. Noah cursed Ham's son, Canaan, after Ham dishonored him. This shows that dishonor toward a father can lead to negative generational consequences. If you like our content, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for your support. All audiobooks are available on Amazon and Kindle. Don't forget to check out my author page on Amazon for new book releases.